I usually paint either digital art, watercolor, or using oil paint. And I would say I'm a fairly confident artist. But if there's one medium that I really struggle with, it's acrylic paint. And it's not that I don't think I can get moderately decent result in acrylic paint, but I've been painting some paintings for my wife, and you can see the process for them here. And there's one thing that stuck with me, and that's the fact that acrylics really isn't easy. I struggle more with acrylics than I do with watercolor, oil paint, and digital art. And so it seems weird to me because there's this general consensus that acrylics is something you start with. And I just personally think it's one of the most cumbersome mediums to work with. And you consistently have to fight it, even if you have decent quality paint. The paintings I'm painting here, they're kind of goofy paintings. And I wanted to paint them quickly. And I wanted them to have sort of opaque colors, quite similar to what you would achieve with digital art. I sketched them in digital art first. And I didn't want to spend more than an hour or two on them. And so the obvious choice is acrylic paint. It's the best medium for this type of thing. But what struck me when painting this is just how annoying the process is. The colors, while opaque, aren't really opaque. You have to layer them over and over again. The thickness of the paint makes it so that each brush stroke is difficult to get perfect. It's difficult to get it exactly how you want it, compared to something like watercolor, where if you paint a brush stroke, it lands where you want. Whereas with acrylic paints, that's not quite the case. And you can buy painting mediums or drying mediums to help with this, but then you struggle even more with your opaqueness. You have to layer it a lot. And I think that type of dichotomy doesn't really help you when you need to practice stuff like shading or clean lines, because the medium itself doesn't help you practice these skills. The medium makes you think that you suck, but you don't. I mean, you might suck, but you don't even get to practice it, because even someone who's fairly decent at art struggles with these things, I think, when it comes to acrylic paint. I think that this one, for instance, ended up kind of fine. It doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of how I wanted it to. But the only reason I could achieve that was because I know that I'm a better artist than how this looked from the start. But I knew that it looked terrible because the medium is tricky, and I just need to continue working until it looks decent. Compare that to something like watercolor, and I think, sure, you only get one attempt, and that's tricky, but it at least looks like you can hold a brush with watercolor. Whereas with acrylic paint, it just looks like this is the first time you've touched the brush. The viscosity of the paint makes it so that it doesn't end up where you want. And if you use mediums or water, you end up with another trickiness, which is you just have to paint. Your paintings just take a long time to create. And in my case, I obviously picked this precisely because I wanted to be quick. But I think if you want to practice shading and stuff like that, it's better to go for oil paint. Or if you don't want oil paint, you can have these like water mixable oil paints. I tend to use them on occasion and it works. It's quite decent. Obviously, these are not the same as actual oil paints. But my point is that if you get into acrylics, just know that I think that the medium, by and large, is working against you when you want to shade. It dries too quickly for you to get a smooth shade. Practicing the skills that you need to get better is significantly easier with oil paint. Or lastly, it could be worthwhile trying gouache, assuming you want to stay traditional. Painting digital is also a really good way to not have the medium fight you. But that said, I do like how they ended up. I do like them in hindsight, and I'm glad I picked acrylics for this. It's the right medium for this, even though I don't like working with the medium. Oh, and these two are obviously in Swedish, because they're meant for my wife. This one says, "Does my butt look big?" And this one says, "You should have bought your own french fries." I don't know, maybe you disagree with me, but I do believe I'm right. If you're a beginner, I don't believe you should start with acrylics. And if you do, you should at least know that it's not an easy medium by any means. You will tend to look worse than you actually are. Thanks for watching. Bye.